There is a lot at stake in this year's Grade 1 Pegasus World Cup Invitational Stakes, run Saturday, January 24th at Gulfstream, a mile and an eighth on the dirt. Not only is this the 10th anniversary of the race with a $3 million purse, but for the first time ever, it is a win and you're into the Breeders' Cup Classic. 14 runners have been entered, 12 will make it to the starting gate. A field that blends Grade 1 class, developing 4-year-olds, speed, some question marks, and very different paths to this moment. How will you find your winner? Facts and figures are going to give you that winning edge. I give you the stats, you make the picks. Hi, it's Maura from Trifecta and a little bit extra. And in this video, I'm going to do two things. First, I'm going to look back at the previous 9 runnings of the Pegasus World Cup to find those common traits of the winners. These will not be absolutes. Oh no, they are not rules, but they are going to be angles worth paying attention to. Then we're going to go horse by horse, telling each horse's story and how or if they fit those angles. But first, I do need to say this. Horse betting is not legal in every state, so if you're betting, make sure it's legal. Now, let's talk about those angles. So I do want to be clear here. We only have 9 previous runnings of this race, so what I'm about to say, not hard and fast rules. They're trends, not guarantees. Now that said, there were some things that really stood out. First, class matters. All 9 winners had Grade 1 experience, and every single one finished on the board at least once. 8 of the 9 won Grade 1 races. The lone exception was Mucho Gusto, Bob Baffert's trainee. Now second, positioning, highly critical here at Gulfstream. This is a dirt track that favors horses that are forwardly placed, and 8 of the 9 winners were either on the lead or within 2 lengths of the leader at the half pole. Now, you'll often see words like driving and dug in late in those running lines, so we're going to look for them as well. And third, distance helps, but not mandatory. 6 of the 9 winners had a prior win at this distance or longer, but notably, Life is Good and Nick's Go did not win at this distance before they won this race. Now, fourth, being the favorite or having prior Gulfstream wins is not essential. Favorites won only 5 times, and 8 of the 9 winners had never won at Gulfstream prior to the Pegasus Cup. Now, with that framework in mind, we're going to go horse by horse. Coming out of post position 1, we got a little disco time. Trained by Brad Cox, will be ridden by Flavien Prat, the morning line favorite. This 4-year-old, all he knows how to do is win, win, win. 5 starts and 5 wins. Last year, he was on the Kentucky Derby Trail, winning the Comp Stakes before an injury had him sidelined until September. The last time we saw him was November at the Dwyer Stakes, going a mile, where he absolutely demolished a small field, winning by 9 lengths and earning a 107 Beyer speed rating, one of the best in the field. So what's not to like? Well, he checks some really important boxes. He's got speed, he likes to be forwardly placed, and his running lines include those notes I'm looking for, driving. But here's the but. He lacks Grade 1 experience, and he has never gone this distance. These are 2 major historical angles that he doesn't meet. Does that mean he can't win? Absolutely not. But because he lacks both class at the Grade 1 level and distance, he's not going to be my favorite. Now for me, he's going to be a win contender. I can't ignore 5 W's, but he's not going to be on top for me. Now let's move on to a horse whose pedigree immediately caught my eye. Coming out of post position 2 is British Isles. Trained by David Fox, he'll be ridden by Diego Herrera. Now this 5-year-old is by Justify, my favorite sire. out of a pure prize mare. And that alone made me pause. He's had 22 career starts, but here's the kicker. 18 have been on the turf. Now there are things to like. He prefers to be forwardly placed. And in his most recent start, the Grade 3 Native Diver Stakes, he finished second going this distance on the dirt. Now when we stack him up against the angles though, the gaps begin to show. He has just one Grade 1 start, came on the turf, finished 6th. And compared to this field, speed figures are a bit light. For me, this is a horse I respect, but from a win standpoint, I'm going to have to pass. From a turf-heavy resume to a horse with international class, the number 3 horse is Full Serrano. Trained by John Sadler, he'll be ridden by Joel Rosario. Now he ships in from the West Coast. He is a 7-year-old, 20 starts, and get this, 15 times on the board. Now 6 of those starts have been here in the US, the rest in Argentina. This is a horse that checks a lot of boxes for me. He's got that Grade 1 class, including a win in the 2024 Breeders' Cup Dirt Mile, and that race matters for this race. In the 2025 edition, he finished 5th, but he had a troubled trip, so you may be able to draw a line right through that race. Now, he prefers to stay involved early, so he's got that right running style I'm looking for. While his best US races has been at the mile, he has won at the longer distances in Argentina, and he placed 2nd both in the Pacific Classic and the Goodwood. These are Grade 1 races here in the US at the longer distances. Now here's the concern. Some of the speed figures say, hey, this horse fits. Others, like the buyer, say he's a bit light, and at age 7, it wouldn't be easy for him to improve. But he draws an inside post, and that is a big plus here at Gulfstream. So with so many horses in this field lacking that Grade 1 win, this is a horse, in my opinion, is a win contender. Now, before we move on, if you're finding this analysis useful, go ahead and hit that like button and hit subscribe. It really helps my channel, and it tells YouTube to show more videos like this to racing fans like you. Also, if you have a question or a suggestion, drop me a comment below, or you can also find me on my socials or my website, www.trifectaandextra.com. Now, let's talk about a horse with some serious speed, but some important questions. Coming out of post position 4, we have Banishing. Trained by David Jacobson, he'll be ridden by Jose Ortiz. Now, this is a 6-year-old. He has 26 starts, and he has won 9 of his races. And from a raw speed standpoint, he is dangerous. A 106 buyer earned at this distance in the Grade 2 Oaklawn Handicap last April. Now, his running line suggests he's got some oomph at the end, and he comes off a 2nd place finish, sprinting 6 furlongs. But here's where things get a bit tricky. No Grade 1 wins, and in fact, no Grade 1 starts at this distance or longer. He also tends to sit further off the leader than I like to see for this race, except the Oaklawn Handicap and some of his earlier races. So for me, he's missing both the class angle and the running style. So unless he gets up in that mix early, he's going to need to be a pass for me as the win contender. Now let's move on to a horse who just keeps showing up, and that is the number 5 horse, SkippyLongStocking. Trained by Saffie Joseph Jr., he'll be ridden by Tyler Gaffalione. This horse is a Gulfstream staple. In fact, his trainer and jockey are one of the tops in their field at Gulfstream. This is a 7-year-old. He has 35 starts, 12 of them at Gulfstream, and he's got 12 wins, 4 at Gulfstream. And guess what? He has gone this distance 17 times. Durability, check. Experience, check, check. But here's the problem. He has tried 11, count them, 11 Grade 1 races and has never won a single one. His recent speed figures, they're also below some of the key rivals, and his Pegasus record, a 7th, a DNF, and a 3rd, which suggests he may be more competitive underneath. But for me, he's not a win contender. Now we're going to shift to a Bob Baffert trainee with a lot of upside, but also uncertainty. The number 6 horse is Madaket Road. Trained by Bob Baffert, he'll be ridden by Mike Smith, a 4-year-old with just 9 starts. Now, he was on the Kentucky Derby Trail last year. He competed in the Florida Derby, but instead of the Kentucky Derby, he went to the Pat Day Mile and finished 2nd. Overall, 4 Grade 1 starts, but he only hit the board once in the Woody Stevens at 7 furlongs. He does have that right run and style, but speed is going to be an issue. Distance may be as well. He's gone this distance once in the Florida Derby. He finished 4th behind Tappan Street, who we're going to get to next. With several races showing the word weekend in the notes, this horse is going to be a pass for me. And now to one of the most intriguing horses in the race. Post position 7 is occupied by Tappan Street. Trained by Brad Cox, he'll be ridden by Luis Saez, and he is a win contender, in my opinion. This 4-year-old has just had 4 career starts, and he's won 3. And this is one of the only horses to have beat Sovereignty, last year's Kentucky Derby, Belmont, and Travers winner. That win came at the Florida Derby, and he earned a 94 buyer. Now, he was slated to be in the Kentucky Derby, but was sidelined due to an injury. Since coming back, we saw a return win here in December. He checks a lot of boxes for me. A Grade 1 win, a win at this distance, a forward running style, and guess what? Driving in those notes. Yes, he does need to improve his speed, but he's only had 4 starts, and that is entirely possible. Now let's talk about a horse getting a notable equipment change. The number 8 horse is Poster, trained by Owen Hardy, be ridden by Junior Alvarado. He adds blinkers for this race for the very first time. Now this 4-year-old has had 7 starts, 4 wins, including the Grade 2 Remsen at this distance. But there are some concerns. He lacks that Grade 1 experience. He tends to sit 3 to 4 lengths back from the leader at the half pole, and his running lines don't show that he has a late drive. For me, without the class and the running style angle, he is going to be a pass for me. But remember this, an equipment change can make all the difference in the world. And with him being 4 and having upside, this is a horse I would look at as a potential underneath contender. If you're finding value in this analysis, go ahead and hit that like button and hit subscribe and stay with me because we're going to get to some big names next. Coming out of post position 9, we have Captain Cook. Trained by Todd Pletcher, he'll be ridden by Johnny Velasquez, and this horse is fascinating. He's a 4-year-old with 8 starts. He's hit the board 6 times. Now, he does lack a Grade 1 win, and I am looking for that, but he did hit the board in a Grade 1 race. He lost by a nose in the H. Allen Jerkins going 7 furlongs, and there he earned a 103 buyer speed rating, and that is strong in this field. He's got the right running style, and while his recent races have been sprints, he won at the Withers and placed in the Peter Pan at this distance. So if the speed from Saratoga and the distance from Aqueduct show up together, he is dangerous. But that's a big if. I wouldn't overlook him though. Todd Pletcher has been his trainer since the summer, and he is firing some bullet workouts. Post position 10 is Mika. Trained by Mike Maker, he'll be ridden by Manny Franco. Now, he almost won the Cigar Mile. He lost by a neck, but he earned a 106 buyer, and that speed rating puts him in the mix here. 8 starts with 3 wins and a place. He lacks that Grade 1 experience, and he has never gone this distance. He does have the early speed, though, and he does his best work when he's on the lead. But the question's going to be, can this horse get to the lead coming out of post position 10? Also, there are horses with a lot more early pace in this race, like full Serrano. So it's possible, but even if he gets to the lead, then the question's going to be, hey, can he hold the distance? Can he carry it? For me, he's more interesting underneath than on top. Now moving on to last year's winner of the race, White Abarrio. Trained by Safi Joseph Jr., he'll be ridden by Irad Ortiz, leading rider here at Gulfstream. Now he won this race last year by, get this, 6 1/4 lengths. I was there, it was incredible. And he earned a 109 Beyer speed figure, which is so strong in this field. He has 15 grade 1 entries. You want class, this horse has class. And he's got 4 grade 1 wins. He thrives at the longer distances. And out of 10 starts at Gulfstream, he has 8 wins. Yes, he's 7. Yes, he has had 3 fourth place finishes, but that was in grade 1 races against elite competition. The one concern I have is this outside post. We are talking post position 11. Inside posts do better at Gulfstream because of the configuration of the track. It is a very short stretch into that first turn. And he's going to get out of that gate quick to secure position. In all 8 wins he had at Gulfstream, the furthest post he had was post position 8. In fact, 6 of the 8, he was in post position 4 or on the inside. He ran a 7 furlong race, post position 9, 10 horse field. He was off a step slow, got caught wide, and that was not a win for him. Now, Irad has to know this. He's got a job to do. But remember, he is the leading rider here at Gulfstream. He is a win contender, yes, but that outside post, that is his adversary. Coming from post position 12, we have Brotha Keny. Trained by Jose D'Angelo, he'll be ridden by Javier Castellano. Now, he lacks some key angles for the win. 13 starts, 4 wins, 1 place, 3 shows, but he has never been tested in a grade 1 race. No wins at this distance and lighter speed figures than the rest of the field. But, and this matters, he's got a strong late kick, fast workouts, and he just joined a top Gulfstream barn. If the pace melts down, he is going to be one to watch and one I would consider underneath. Now on to those also eligibles who make it in if there are any scratches. First, also eligible, Lightning Tones. This is a horse that local fans will immediately recognize. Trained by Jose Castro and ridden by Jose Morales, this 6-year-old has made 33 career starts, and guess where 30 of them have been? Right here at Gulfstream Park. That alone gives him level of track familiarity that no one else in the field can match. His most recent win came just a few weeks ago in the Sunshine Classic Stakes, going 1 1/16. Not a perfect trip, had to go wide, drove late to the win, 3-length win. So there are some things to like. He knows the surface, but here's the problem. That Sunshine Classic only earned a 90 Beyer, and compared to the rest of the field, that number is light. He's also 6 years old, which means it's going to be really hard for him to improve. And while he's been extremely effective here locally, remember, no grade 1 experience and no wins at this distance. And he does not consistently have that forward running style that dominates this race. So for me, if he draws in, this is not a horse I would consider as a win contender. And finally, let's talk about the other also eligible, a horse with a resume that looks better on paper than it does when you dig deeper. Catalytic, trained by Antonio Sano, will be ridden by David Egan. This is a 5-year-old who has been remarkably consistent throughout his career. He's made 14 starts. He's hit the board 11 times. And that tells you that this horse does show up more often than not. He's also competed at the grade 1 level, including an appearance in the 2024 Kentucky Derby. So class exposure is there. The issue is, what has he done with that class? The last time we saw him was in the Grade 3 Harlan's Holiday here at Gulfstream going 1.16 miles. Now in that race, he attempted a wide move. He never really fired, and he finished behind SkippyLongStocking and Poster, who we've already talked about. Now, if I don't really like SkippyLongStocking or Poster in this race, it's really tough for me to like Catalytic. He lacks that Grade 1 win, speed figures are on the lighter side compared to the contenders, and his running style doesn't really align to what I'm looking for. For me, he would be a pass as a win contender. Now, here's the most important part of the video. It's time for you to tell me, who do you like in the Pegasus World Cup Stakes and why? Your opinion is the only one that matters. Drop me a comment below. Also, if any of the information helped you, go ahead and hit that like button and hit subscribe. Want to know what I have coming your way? More big races, the Kentucky Derby Trail, horse racing education, the kind you could share with your good friend who you always wanted to take to a race, but they always resisted. I hope you all find your winner on Saturday and sashay away with your money. Until next time, cheers.